calling Elevation Legal. If you know your party's extension, you may enter it at any time. If you are a new client and would like to speak with a lawyer, press 1. If you are an existing client, press 2. Lawyers wanting to discuss files or client matters, press 3. If you are in police custody and need to speak with a lawyer, press 4. For all other matters, press 5. Thank you for calling Elevation Legal. You have reached our confidential voice messaging system. At the tone, please leave us a brief message with your full name, contact information, and the reason for your call, and someone from our office will return your call on the next business day.
This is in regards to court file number 1201-188951-2-A. Today, I am the woman that this matter is about. So I have sent some correspondence to you, knowing that Mr. Peter Blockmanis was duty counsel today and tomorrow. So if you could please check your emails, maybe look in different folders if you haven't received those emails, because there was very specific instructions provided for today and for the reasons why for those instructions. So what I need to do is get a scanned copy of the warrant that was issued in error today. I need to deal with that because there is no jurisdiction. There is no, what's happening here is crimes are being committed. It's an act of fraud on the court. And so then the persons acting as the court would have no jurisdiction. And I'm the only woman who would know this because I know why this is going on. This is a malicious prosecution. So I'm not going to live in fear for my life, which is what's happening to me. This is what happens when you report crime in Canada against yourself and your family. This is retaliation, it's discrimination. And so please check your emails. I do need a scanned copy of this warrant, and I do need to know where I can obtain a scanned copy of this warrant, because I need to cancel this warrant and contact the appropriate party, and then that canceled warrant needs to be returned to the registry. And the reason is no jurisdiction, lack of jurisdiction. So I communicate best in email. So you do have an email address there. It's diplomatvictoriaann@gmail.com. Or you can text message only, text messaging only, 250-661-0610. Because I am deeply concerned with the amount of misinformation and fabrication of evidence that is this matter due to racism and hatred for myself and my family just for reporting crime. So this needs to be dealt with immediately, because I'm not going to live like this.
So here's what we know about the wicked. They cannot see and they cannot hear because there have been repeated emails sent. We know that you are all listening to the uploads because we were informed on Thursday by Mr. Gordon Baines that your level of racism and hatred has now gone to the extent of just obsession to destroy a woman who has a duty to report crime. It's a duty. It's not like there's no way victims of crime in Canada should be staying silent. So this is the issue here. So after being spoken to repeatedly, after being provided the reasons why you couldn't move this forward, And we're going to go over them again right now because I am the only woman with first-hand knowledge of what's going on here. Everything that has been spoken by the agents of the Crown in regard to this matter is hearsay. It's hearsay. And not only is it hearsay, it's fabricating evidence. It's perjury. So let's look at the rules here. Because you members of the Law Society of British Columbia, you have rules to follow. So criminal activity and duty to withdraw. So if you know or ought to know that you are or would be assisting a client in fraud or other illegal conduct, you must withdraw from representation. So what we have here is agents acting as the Crown are representing the fabricated evidence of members of the Saanich Police Department, and they're also representing the owners of How Pham Holdings, who are in possession of property obtained by crime. So that's who agents of the Crown are representing in this matter. They are not representing the public. They are not representing the Crown. There has been no crimes committed. We went over why this woman has to consent to being charged under a statute. A statute is not law. We've gone through that with you. You should have received the communications by now. You should have read and understood the communications that were sent to you. Because here's what we know to be true. Key resources, rules, criminal activity, duty to withdraw, Law Society Rule 3-109, code, dishonesty, fraud by client. Okay, so your clients are members of the Saanich Police Department and the owners of How Pham Holdings. That's who your clients are. That's who's provided fabrication of evidence. They're being dishonest. They're lying because they hate this woman. They hate her culture. They hate her race. They hate her ethnic origin. So you should know the BC Code rule. It's 3.2-7 to 3.2-8. There can't be an option to withdraw because you're involving yourselves in criminal activity now. What we know is Gordon Baines and Paula Donachie, within the last week, have included themselves in an act of fraud on the court. Uttering threats. So what happened today was, and now I've just heard, uttering threats. Criminal harassment. I'm in fear for my life. And so there's an obligation to withdraw pursuant to BC Code Rule 3.7-7B. I'm the woman who knows what's happening here. I'm the woman that this is about. Our people never hand over our power of attorney to another person. Because this quite obviously is some sort of sick game that you need to play with victims of hate crimes who then report those hate crimes. This is retaliation, it's discrimination, it's racism. You are breaching the Criminal Code of Canada. You are breaching the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. You are breaching every single international convention that would protect men and women who belong to our group of people. This is not okay. Fraud on the court is not okay. Lying is not okay. Hearsay is inadmissible. So let's go over withdrawing of charges and why these charges this morning were to be withdrawn by Paula Donachie, who has no first-hand knowledge of what's even going on here. So how is Paula Donachie then speaking to this matter when it has absolutely no first-hand knowledge of what's happening? Because that's now that's the third female involved in this act of fraud on the court, this malicious prosecution, this hate crime. You're committing a hate crime. Violating multiple sections of the Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms. So source of power to withdraw, that's derived from the common law. The common law is to protect life and protect property. Victoria's life has to be protected, and Victoria's rights are her property, and they also have to be protected. So this is how you work a withdrawal. You refuse to put the information before the court. So this morning, Victoria's name should have never even been mentioned. Because what needed to happen before 9 o'clock this morning was this Paula Donachie was to simply write a letter to the clerk of the court directing them not to place this matter before the court. And yet you didn't do that. Why? Well, we know why. This is a conspiracy against inalienable rights. This is a conspiracy to cause irreparable harm. You are causing irreparable harm to an innocent woman, a blameless woman, who is the only woman with first-hand knowledge of why you're doing this. This is a hate crime. So I am the only woman with the power and authority to cancel the warrant then. Because I know that none of these persons have a valid oath of office. Because here's what we know. The province of British Columbia is a corporation. Canada is a corporation. The law courts of British Columbia are a corporation. And a corporation cannot lawfully engage in the practice of law, nor can it do so indirectly through the employment of qualified lawyers. That's case law. That's case law. Here's more case law. A corporation cannot neither practice law nor hire lawyers to carry on the business of practicing law for it. That's other case law. You can't be criminals and have standing. You can't be aiding and abetting crime and have standing. You can't submit fabricated evidence and claim that you have jurisdiction. You can't lie about a blameless woman and claim that you have jurisdiction that you don't have and you never have had and you never did have. So Victoria is the only woman, being a foreign diplomat. Well, so you're all identifying as what? So we've got persons identifying as the Crown. Do you have any proof of your delegation? We all know now that you don't even have a valid oath of office. Who are you serving? Who are you protecting? You are to protect the vulnerable. You are to protect life and property of the vulnerable. That's your job. You are wasting valuable court resources. You now have no standing at all in any matter because you now have proven repeatedly to be the criminals. And yet you are posing as the criminal justice system. And we know from Gordon Baines last Thursday that you are obsessed with listening, but you can't actually hear. You just feel that you're all above the law because what, you're privileged? You're privileged to commit hate crimes, racially motivated discrimination and hate crimes against my people? People that Jesus told you would hate when we were here, and now look what you're doing. You're doing it again. There is none, not one employee acting as any of these municipalities that has the right to touch this woman, to arrest this woman. You are now inciting war against an innocent woman. This is torture. This is terrorism. What you're doing, you're terrorizing an innocent woman because you hate my people so much. You will go out of your fucking way to tell lies. We are well aware of the rules that you have to follow, and you are not following any of them. Why would that be? Because you have determined yourselves to be above the law? Well, if you have determined yourselves to be above the law, then every single male and female in Canada is now above the law. And we will just have full-on fucking crime spree going on 24/7. Because what we know is we can't trust persons who are impersonating the criminal justice system to be trusted. You have now completely destroyed any trust the public should have in the criminal justice system. So instead of going after the criminals, you are now coming after an innocent woman because she spoke up, because she has a duty to the common law to both protect her life and to protect her property. And you will just continue to do the same thing. So I'm going to need some directions because I need a copy. I need a scanned copy of this warrant because it has to be canceled. The dead don't have jurisdiction over the living. Lies don't give you jurisdiction. Fabricated evidence and committing perjury, which is exactly what's happened by Laura Wheeler last August. And then in November, there was another female committing perjury and fabricating evidence. And now we've just done it again. Gordon Baines, for 20 minutes, you told nothing but lies. You told nothing but lies. You lied about this woman. You lied about her character. You lied about, what did you say about me? You said that I'm a sovereign citizen. Not once, not ever has this woman claimed to be a sovereign citizen. You claim that I'm a free man on the land? No, that I'm afraid that's you and your friends here committing an act of fraud on the court with these vexatious, frivolous, without merit allegations that have absolutely, well, they're just absolutely, it's just out and out lies that you're telling. And I'm the woman who's listening to you tell all these lies. I'm a vexatious litigant? What are you talking about? Forced adoption is a war crime, an act of genocide. And then you come from my family's home and you steal all the money? That's also a war crime. And then you claim because I now am owed compensation and restitution that now I am somehow part of the problem? Well, I'm the only woman who could make a claim because I'm the only woman with first-hand knowledge of what's going on, because if I go tell anyone else and they go tell someone else, that's now hearsay. And we can't have hearsay in any actual legitimate cause of action. So you won't even follow your own rules, right? You're just completely lawless. And the public should never trust not one, because if a handful of you are now involved in this, that means you're all the same. That there's not one of you acting as the crown. And how much are you making every year? What, $350,000 to tell lies about innocent people? You don't even have the ability to feel shame. You don't even have the ability to feel remorse for what you're doing. You would be incapable, right? Because you have determined yourselves to be above the law.